Hey guys, so I'm out here again trolling for kokanee and trout, but kokanee are a lot more tasty. So I got one here on the downrigger at about 12 feet. I got one yesterday at 12 and one here just on the surface. I have a Williams wobbler as a little dodger. Oh, I'm getting hits, I think. Yeah. Okay, so that was a hit and I got off. So I'll show you my rig here. I just have a wedding troll, gang troll. The smallest one you can find almost, so there's less drag. And the wedding band here. I like these guys, but what happens there is the way that I like to hook the worms is you just take a little piece, maybe an inch long, inch and a half long, and you just put it just barely on the hook. So sometimes they grab the worm and they get away with it. About half the time that happens, but I find that if you oh, I'm getting more hit. Alright, I think I finally got one hooked up here. Oh yeah, she's on. Oh, you can see it way back there. It's a trout probably. Kokanee usually like to stay down, but they sometimes jump. That was on the Williams wobbler for the dodger and the green wedding band. Oh, he looks decent. She is. Nice trout. Probably 16 inches or so. I think I'm gonna let that one go. I already have a trout in the fridge. Nice trout. There she goes. Alright, well I just took this one off the downrigger because I was getting a lot of hits on the other one. And I got a hit. I'm trying to land this one here. Hope it's a kokanee though, they're just so tasty. Alright, it's getting close here. Could be a trout actually. trout. I'll let this guy go also. There he goes. Can actually still see him down there. Hey guys, so I got a couple already, lost a couple. Or I guess I just got the one, lost a couple. I got the couple Kokanees yesterday as well. Just wanted to show you the downrigger situation. So this one is it's good for when you got to get down, but it's a little bit annoying because it's kind of hard to tell when there's a hit. Like all it is just tap 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 tap. So it's a little bit harder to detect the bites. I just checked this one before I came back around this way, and there was a missing worm, so I just decided to check it because I hadn't had a bite on it for a little bit, and sure enough the worm was gone. So this one over here is a little bit easier to see when there's a hit because I'm just flatlining it, so it goes pretty crazy even if it's just a small little fish, right? There's a couple guys over there fishing. But I also find that it's a little bit easier to run two lines when one is on the downrigger. When you're flatlining two in a small boat like this, they get a little bit more tangled up, especially when it's windy, I guess. When you're making those turns, there's a better chance that they're gonna get tangled up. I was showing you before the worms, how I hook them, and the reason why I just barely hook it in the end is because I like when the worm's coming straight back. If you twist the worm on the hook and it's in a ball, it just doesn't really look that natural, you know? So when it's just barely hooked on the end like that, and it's just going straight back in line with the spinner, I find that that's the most natural looking, you know? So you get a few bites where, even today I've had a couple where they hit the worm and they take half your worm and all you're left with is a little nub on the hook of worm and the fish gets away. But you get a lot more bites that way too, so I'd rather lose a bunch and get some than just have something that doesn't look so natural, you know? Finally, boys. I think it's a kokanee. Oh yeah. Oh, maybe a trout. Bite's been slow. I missed a couple actually earlier. 35 feet of water. I was almost sleeping there when I got bit. Beautiful day out here though. You gotta bring the kokanee in nice and easy. They're barely ever hooked good. They rarely go on nice runs unless they're, you know, over 16 inches. They're usually about 13 inches. It was dead calm for a couple hours and the wind just started blowing about 5 minutes ago, a little bit. Alright, we're getting close here. Little kokanee. Good eater. Let's see here. Oh, he's off. That's how easy they pop off. Look at that, eh? How much of a fight. I don't know if this guy's trying to cut me off or what. This thing looks really small. Maybe bigger than the last one. Let's grab this. Oh shit. Terrible net job. He was hooked good though. It's nice when they pop off like that. That's a nice one, eh? Alright guys, we're not going to clean the fish because everyone knows how to do that. So the thing that I do that probably lots of people don't do is I scale them. So even though the scales are tiny, I just scale it because for the time that it takes, right? And then I just wipe it down so it's nice and dry before it goes in the fridge. So there's the kokanee right there. It still has some moisture, so what I do is I just take some flour, some salt, and some pepper. And I'll add a little bit of salt and pepper after as well. And just get this guy nice and coated. Meanwhile, I got the butter melting in the pan. Just coat this guy right up. Just like that. Looks good. Sweet. And I add the Cajun after as well. And just throw it in the pan. And that's going to take a little bit of time. Just because the stove is about 100 years old. And it's on high, but it's a small one. The big one doesn't work, so that's why I use a small one. But I like it that way because it cooks it nice and slow. Oh yeah, she's almost done. So I just sprinkled a little bit of Cajun on that side when I flipped her. So what I'll do is I'll flip it one more time. Oh yeah, she's crispy. And I'll sprinkle some more on this side. A little bit of salt. It's almost done. look at that. Okay, and then what I like to do here is I just go in at the tail, and then oops, I just take it off right like that. Uh-oh. That's hot. And then you just pull it out. All the bones. Turn the oven off. And that's it, man. Look at that. And I'll pull off the fin and the tail. And you get most of the bones. Look at that. So almost the more crispy the better, but take a look at that. Yep. That's good.